Family, what's good? It's your boy Litebody back again with another edition of the Litebod Pod. Welcome back to the Light Hub Soul Fam. Man, super excited for this show. We got yet another interview session, and we'll be interviewing a previous guest on the show, one of the most consistent artists that we've covered here on the channel. Lyrical, spiritual, super aware, conscious, artist, creative, and definitely an energy work of many sorts. We've got Illuminative over here back on the channel. Illuminative. He said on the previous interview, you can call it what you want. It's got it. You can put your own spin into it. And I'm super honored to have you back on the show. Recently dropped his latest album titled Endangered, and we're gonna have yet another deep conversation about that and more. So fam, best believe we're gonna be diving into way more. We got really we dove into some really esoteric themes, some really eerie topics for some of y'all who might be scared of some of these what can we say, paranormal experiences or super spiritual, otherworldly experiences in our previous conversation. So I trust we're going to be diving into this and so much more. And with that being said, Illuminative, welcome back to the Light Hub, man. How you been?
Good to be here. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah, how are you?
I'm great, man. Great to have you again. It's been a real journey since the last time we've spoken. I've gone through my own spiritual experiences and my own developments. Of just like life and whatever lessons I come across on a daily basis. And also, I've been taking inspiration from your consistency and maintaining my level of consistency with my output of my own work. So I've been going through a lot, and I trust you have been as well, man. Endangered is finally out. You promised us in the previous interview, and man, take me through this journey that you've been on, man. How have you been, and how's Illuminative's growth been since the last time we've spoken?
Yeah, definitely always shifting and moving up towards my higher self and trying to bring my higher self back down to my ego as well. So to enlighten my ego perspective. So I believe my life is about having enlightening experiences to add to my egoic self, to transcend the limitations of the ego, to then collaborate with a higher version of myself, which I perceive as all that is, or God, people call it. So I believe we all have made in the same image, and we have that channel, that access to all that is to bring into our ego perception and really just to take our ego on the ride to the higher self and also the higher self down to the ego. So I've been dealing with that collaboration for this album as well as just in my personal life, like incorporating the growth and the evolution of self and the transcendence of ego. So like I said, my ego getting enlightening experiences to understand the higher level of self and and to cooperate with that as well, rather than work against it, like work with it. So I've been dealing with that aspect as well.
And
Endangered is really, yeah, sorry. Yeah, endangered is really a notch behind the state I'm in at the moment. So I'm always moving forward or up in frequency, down in frequency, up again. So, but it's always up and down, but constantly going up like that. So I like that kind of sway up and down, but always gradually moving
yeah,
up. So
man, that's really phenomenal. I can just feel from your energy and like your state of being right now seems very grounded. You seem very like I can definitely feel that you feel there's a sense of balance within your aura or within your energy field, man. Um, in the previous interview, we tapped into discussions of certain beings, and just before this one, we had like a couple of interferences. Like it took us a while to get to this point. Uh, and I had like we even spoke about me having to sage up the place. I eventually got to that, saged it up, and it seems like we about to have a very nice, uninterrupted, balanced conversation and interaction over here. And in terms of these sort of beings that tend to try and like we spoke about this in our previous interview, like we said like certain entities or archons will tap into your field or try to deter you or test you when you are doing something right or when you are on your journey. And in this particular album that we speak in, that we're gonna dive deeper into here in this interview, you you're showing imagery of a new being on the cover. Previously,
Yeah.
we had entities in terms of like I think it was reptilian, more on the reptilian side, and in this one, I believe that's a gray entity. So could you maybe just dive into what is your relationship with this entity and what is the difference in terms of characteristics between grays versus the previous sort of energy you were channeling in the previous album?
Well, the ET mask, which is extraterrestrial, it is based on a grey model,
Mm.
and but I also view it as the Mexican toad as well. Like it looks like a toad entity as well, because it's very ugly and the appearance is rough and the skin's rough and so to me it looks like an ET as well as the toad, which is related to 5-MeO, the psychedelic medicine which they facilitate in Mexico and around the world. So I now view this as a not only a guide but like related to my experiences in the past and really just experiences with dimethyltryptamine as well, which is the psychedelic medicine that people use to explore other dimensions and have interactions with entities like this. So um, there's many stories of people interacting with ETs with their beyond body experiences. So in different dimensions of self. So there's stories of people channeling these beings through their human ego self as well. So as far as people can be guided or it can be a higher version of self. So
Did you go
that
through a
represents
channeling
the
process, like in the creation or like in your decision to put this as the cover art?
yeah, definitely. I feel an aspect of myself has always been ET, as crazy as that sounds. Um, because I resonated with a great teacher in the world by the name of Bashar, which was a channel of an ET being. And he was just a profound teacher of metaphysics, physics. And so I felt like I was kind of part of that family, that part of that tribe, like the way he was, his personality, the knowledge as well. So I feel the knowledge is at another level as well compared to like the human ego level.
Hmm.
So I feel like the speed of information, speed of words, even the rapping speed as well is faster.
Yeah, because
So
it's like a
usually if
it's
I
a
can,
different dimensional experience. Like they are operating at a different frequency, or yeah, I get you.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I feel the extraterrestrial represents a higher dimensional being, not a lower dimensional being. So even though the appearance can be quite scary and mutated in a sense, some people in the world teach that these entities come from a parallel universe as well. So, but it's very common ground to experience them when you're on these high strength psychedelics as well.
So, take me through the title process. Like, what? How did you come up with the title Endangered and why?
Well, I went through, I've got 8 tracks on the album. So they're all kind of different topics and different titles, but I felt Endangered was the best title to represent the group, as every song kind of relates to something special, like our higher self, duality, like hope. You've got utopia, and you've got schizophrenia, which talks about mental health issues like schizophrenia, ADHD. You got ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder, and so those topics, around schizophrenia as well, where it's people who see multidimensional, and then the song Endangered as well as Psychedelics. So all of them are quite sacred, special topics which are endangered in a sense in our current level of third dimension or fourth dimension. So I felt all of these things are endangered.
Hmm. Hmm.
So as far as like people awakening to it, but at the same time, the masses are not focused on all of these topics.
Indeed. And the track list as well, like as you just played it out there for us, really esoteric as well, very uh, heart centered, very consciousness, like with an agenda to awaken or spark the interest of people who are aware of these certain like higher vibrational topics. We've got utopia, we've got hope, we've got divine love, we've got higher self. And I really enjoyed
Yeah,
this project. Like, I feel like we got a more mature side, or what can I say, more refined sound as well. And a sound that I feel like could appeal to way more of a pop mainstream like listenership. And just the listening experience was a bit more soft in comparison to the previous album, which was really like heavy. Like we had the new metal influences, very, very
uh,
aggressive. We had topics like
yeah,
this is war, nature's raw, like a very, like I feel like this is showing
yeah,
your angelic side, more of your progressive, trying to find solutions, or picking out and focusing on certain elements of more positive light and spectrum. I really enjoyed this, like, and as I mentioned, like just the instrumentation had a very light element to it. Very like in particular with Utopia, like that felt like a theme song, like a song you'd hear as like a backtrack soundtrack for Utopia experience. And Divine Love. Like I could
yeah,
feel the
yeah.
energy seeping through. Like I listened to the first four tracks um, just before bed. Like I put it under my pillow and just sort of like dozed off to it. I was like, man, this is sort of reprogramming my mind and reprogramming me subconsciously. I could feel the energy as like as it was being transmitted to me. So I would like to commend you for that first of all. And yeah, man, some people would say like, "Hey, bro, light body, you dick riding here. What's happening, bro?" Nah, dude. Like I'm really feeling like the energy, and I'm like I'm sensitive to these sort of topics and these sort of experiences. And I'm really a music fan. Like I really love hearing elements or reading hearing people express themselves so or authentically and organically. And it really came out on this one, man. Like my favorite, I cannot just take you through my favorite picks of this project.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah, sure.
Divine Love, Utopia, and Higher Self. I'll leave it there. Top three: Higher Self, Divine Love,
Yeah,
Utopia.
yeah.
Um,
Actually,
you
I just started filming the movies for it,
awesome, awesome.
and
When can we expect
yeah,
music videos for the album?
I filmed three of the music videos so far, so I'll probably do six videos. So it's going to be like three songs on the light side, and then three heavier songs on the dark side. So it's kind of that duality in the movies.
Hmm.
So
Take
I picked some
you want
beautiful
to take
places for the highest song.
awesome. Do you want to take me through like the creation process, particularly like with also how the ideas were seeded as well, and how you sort of were able to paint this picture as I just described of like such a well balanced, such a very positively inclined body of work.
Mm.
Like, take me through the creation process and then also
Okay,
like
yeah.
the energy and the idea process.
Yeah, I feel like I really got the opportunity to sit down for a couple of weeks. Like my partner and my son got stuck in Japan overseas, so I felt like a window opened of opportunity to really sit down and write and intentionally choose the best like backing tracks and try to incorporate all my styles into one album where it was like my God project in the sense of like bringing in the reptilian, bringing in the ET, bringing in the singer-songwriter, bringing in the high consciousness, like bringing in the rapper, and just bringing it all together and collaborating. So I wanted to, every second album, I generally do this where I might do a hip hop project and then like a rock hip hop, and then there'll be more commercial stuff involved. So with this one, I wanted to put a bit of everything on the album. So that was intentional to choose my favorite beats and instrumentals, but also a mix of all the genres to showcase like the variety and but a consistency as well. And like I always do, I sit down and I channel, like I scribble on paper, like I'm more of a scribble channeler, like those psychic mediums who just kind of, the page ends up a complete mess,
Yeah,
like when I'm rhyming. And I'm like scribbling stuff out and just trying to get the rhymes right logically, but trying to make it sense and then a meaning as well as with higher self, for example. I really wanted to do songs which were open meaning as well as like there was a twist in it. So there's quite a few songs on the album where I actually you think I'm talking about something else and then there's a twist. So higher selves, it sounds like I'm having an affair, for example, like I'm married or in a relationship and I'm having an affair.
mm.
So there's a twist in the narrative about what that is. What is that affair? And it's an affair with my higher self. So, and
Yeah,
so
man.
like the song starts off.
Absolutely. Like I felt that as well. Like, and you really paid attention to the writing process. Like you always had a message. Almost literally every bar was a message or something that could sort of either reprogram you or program you to understand your lens and your view, or just get you into a higher state of awareness. And I really appreciated that. Uh, Take me through some of the lyrics. Like some of the lyrics that stood out um, was on schizophrenia when you were saying when you are super artistic, there's a difference between ASD, and then you also went on to say when you're beyond the veil and you're meant to know, they call you schizophrenic. You care to divulge on that one
Yeah,
and
when yeah.
maybe dive deeper and dissect that?
Yeah, like 2 years ago, I was diagnosed with autism ASD for Asperger's, which is level 3 on the diagnosis with the psychiatrists and doctors and GPs. And so for me, I was happy to be diagnosed, but there's a positive and negative side to everything. So the negative side was the labeling and putting limitations on you, as well as society not being aware of what it is and being in denial of what it is as well. So I felt, you know, it was super important at the time a couple of years ago, but eventually I did an album called The Spectrum, but then in this album I did the schizophrenia song because I know that a lot of people with schizophrenia are misunderstood as well as not guided properly with their super sensitivity and their sensitivity to the multiverse, to the multi dimensions, and can be diagnosed as like mentally ill or schizophrenic. So I'm kind of understand that, but at the same time, I'm like, well, these people are seeing beyond the veil, like beyond the programming, beyond the matrix in a sense. So they're seeing entities or spirits, and they're really experiencing them. So, but psychiatrists, doctors, not all, but enough of them would say, oh, they're crazy or they need medication, and so they're really not using the gift that they could have if they had the right guidance. So I believe some of the people with the strongest so-called labeled mental illnesses, especially schizophrenia, have the greatest potential if guided and healthy. So it's the same for me with autism. So I say there's a dark side of autism and there's a light side of autism. If taken seriously and taken in the right direction, it can be an advantage. So, some of the best artists in the world, some of the best rappers, they have so-called mental health issues. But they're some of the greatest artists that there is. So sometimes, anyone labeled crazy or gets prescription medication, in most cases, it makes them worse, like their health worse. And they develop mental health issues from the medications.
Mm. So what would you say are some of the remedies or some of the tools that assisted you with your experiences with mental health disorders or mental
Yeah.
health
Okay.
experiences?
Like I've suffered from mental health issues from high school until now. So yeah, you're looking at like 23 years. I've had mental health issues up and down. And in the end, once I was diagnosed, it really helped me understand that I was just neurodiverse. I was different, struggling in a world that wanted me to be the same. And so a lot of my mental health issues came from peer pressure, from society wanting me to be a clone of everybody else. So once that's understood and you go through a spiritual awakening, focus on well-being, health, and spirituality, you become a healthier version of what you were. And then going to natural medicine. I don't take medications of any kind at all. Only if an emergency, like broken bones or something. Uh, I don't go to hospitals. I don't go to doctors. I have only been to emergency hospitals for injuries or car accidents or whatever. But I'm more on the kind of witch doctor side, where I'm into shamanism, into ancient practices, native people's medicines. I believe natural medicines. I've attempted to heal myself over the years, especially the last 10 years. And the last 2 years since I was diagnosed, I attempted to heal autism in myself. So,
And
and I feel, yeah,
which
I've had,
herbs did you like try to maybe experiment with to get you to that sense of healing or closer to that?
I did a lot of different things. I did the diets, like the organic as possible, special diets, like home cooking, everything pure, everything good for you. Uh, you got the sport and exercise, there's stretching, like yoga, meditation, the music as well, like the beats which have frequencies to heal the brain,
Solfeggio
and
frequencies,
as
yeah.
well as yeah, that's right. And just the healing practices like massage, the Reiki, energy work, tantric massage, all of these different healing modalities, and the natural medicine, psychedelics, microdosing, macrodosing, microdosing psilocybin, uh, DMT through the medicinal teas like Acacia confusa, which is acacia, which has DMT with cerium rue, which is MAO inhibitor in that tea, which creates like a 7 hour journey. Uh, 2 years ago, I had a massive breakthrough experience with the psychedelic tea. which did a lot of deep healing for me, for my ancestry, as well as like my heart area. And so I call occasional infuser the medicine like a heart healer and a spiritual death and a connection. So I had a death experience with that medicine.
Whoa.
So I got to reconnect to, yeah, reconnect to earth and to spirit to resurrect myself. And almost like it feels like you live a memory of death, or it's interactive and it's like a virtual reality that you experience as well. So
Yeah,
you
so it was like
meet
an
entities which,
a self-induced NDE experience through the psilocybin that you were taking.
yeah, like the psilocybin was only microdosing. So I have not done a macro dose of mushrooms. The microdosing, I still do it to this day. I've been doing it this year just for being productive and finishing my music and my music videos. So I have like a drop and I have like one drop in the evening, and I just feel like it reconnects and heals the brain and connects areas which normally would not be operating and shuts down the frontal area here. So it helps the ego kind of go to the back, chill out, while the rest of the brain is active. So neurogenesis is the word. Yeah. Repairing neurons and connecting neurons. Mushrooms, magic mushrooms.
I feel like
Um,
I gotta tap
and
back
then
into that world again. I've been taking a break from it myself. Um, but yeah, I feel like every time I link with you, you always share some gems or like impart me with some messages that I gotta take home, and that's probably something that I
yeah,
gotta reconnect with. And judging from the track list as well, you've got a song on the album titled "Psychedelic," where you dive into your psilocybin and your psychedelic experiences. You mentioned toad, you mentioned mushrooms, and a host of other things. And you also just spoken about your magic teas that you were drinking as well, man. I just want to know, like,
yeah,
you care to dive into some of or one of your craziest psychedelic experiences, like one story that stands out for you that was just like out of this world or super funny. You care to share?
yeah, sure. 3 weeks ago, I did the toad, the Mexican toad, the 5-MeO toad, and I'd
Whoa.
actually written the psychedelic song before I did the toad, but I'd done a lot of research and reading and watching videos about it. So I wrote about it knowing what to expect in some ways. So, but I actually went to a proper ceremony for the toad in Australia, and yeah, I had three facilitators, and it's a medicine that is very difficult to do on your own. So I opted to go to my first proper ceremony for a psychedelic, which in the past I'd never did that. I just did everything solo. But I thought this was the top of the pyramid psychedelic medicine, which I could probably not do on my own, at least the first time. So I went to a special retreat for the day and I did it 3 times in the same day.
Holy
So
man. Sheesh.
they say any more than that is you're starting to be egoic in a sense. So I opted to do the perfection of 3 times. Uh, so it only takes one breath of a vape. And before we do the toad medicine, we do the Sananga eye drops, which is a Amazonian medicine to heal the eye and any diseases in the eye as well, which it also helps with your psychic vision or your eyes in the other realm in a sense. So
Man, where's my
so
pen?
we hape where
Can
they
you say that
blow
again? What's it called?
Sananga. Yeah, it's an eye
Sananga.
drop,
Yeah,
natural
be sure to
medicine,
send me a
which is
message, or send me a link to that. Definitely got to tap into that.
yeah. Because I need spectacles, so I actually use it as a treatment now. I quite often to regress any eye diseases. So it's actually, they've been using that for thousands of years. It's a super strong eye medicine. Like you put one drop in each eye in ceremony, and it stings and burns your eyes. Like it's so painful that you're crying like tears, and like you need tissue, and you've got sinuses coming out. So it's all about detoxifying the body and the eyes before you do the toad medicine as well. So we go through a little ritual before doing the toad, and it's very casual, very laid back. But as soon as you do it, there's nothing laid back about it at all. It's a rocket ship out of this dimension, but in the same space. The first time I had it was a lower dose. So I describe it as taking my ego into the heavenly dimension within the same space. And the bliss and the golden aura you see of everything and the oneness of everything is just blows your mind. You feel like you're the Buddha sitting cross-legged on a mountain, still just sitting in heaven. It's just unbelievable and shocking, so shocking, like compared to any psychedelic I've ever done. First time I did it was a low dose, and that was still really strong. Like you take one breath and then boom, you're like there.
Mm.
And you sit up, you have to sit like in a proper position so your energy flows as well. Because you're starting to enter non-duality. So eventually, when you do a stronger dose, the second and third doses I did completely wiped me out. Like I entered non-duality because you're completely gone. Like you're not there anymore. You don't see entities. There's no hallucinating. You completely have this death of ego and self and separation, like where you literally get ripped out of your body. And it's very, very frightening. Probably the scariest thing I've ever done in my life, as well as the most liberating, sickening, liberating release and joining with what people perceive as God. And God is like this flood of energy, which is almost painful for the ego and the body. It's just horrendous for a moment. But as you surrender, because it's so powerful that there's no other choice, it just kills you. Like the energy is that strong. And then you have what moments where you get glimpses of the ego coming back in for a split second.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had that kind of drawback. They call it like a God orgasm, where it's like, ah, and it's just the breath just is so divine and so powerful and so painful that it's like you're breathing for the first time. Yeah. I describe it as the scene on the Matrix when they pull his body out of the Matrix, out of the machines, and they rebirth him and they have to heal his body. And that's how it feels. They call it like you're birthing yourself and
Yeah.
that you reconnect to source, but then you come back and you're birthing yourself. I describe the facilitators as midwives now. I was energetically purging. I was throwing up as my ego tried to come back into the situation. Every time my ego was there, I was like purging, like throwing up. It lasts for like 20 minutes, but it feels like thousands of years of ancestral pain and suffering and healing. So you feel like you're ripping the roots out of your guts of like the whole collective consciousness, all the suffering, all the love, all the pain, all just in like 20 minutes. And my facilitator said I was completely gone. He counted the second time for 10 seconds, like completely dead, like gone.
Oh man,
And
that's so
then
marvelous. I'm sure you. What did you learn from this? Like, when you were in the state of with you in this in the presence of God? Like, what is the main thing that you pulled from that from this experience?
That I was gone. I was dead before I did that, compared to what I am now. Like I feel like I'm born again. Like I feel like a factory reset, another chance. Like so you get this overwhelming feeling of the presence of a collective consciousness of God, that you're separated as a human experience because of our egos and our society ego. So it's really a falsehood and a false identity. So what we truly are is the divine, like the essence of God. So I was taught that we are all God in a human body, and our human bodies are just different bodies, different perspectives, and that, but we're all the same being. And you experience the magnitude of that energy when you die in this experience. So you bring that energy back with you as well, like, and it processes through your body. And for example, after the ceremony the next day, I had spontaneous toad experiences when I went to bed the next night. So I was going beyond my body again, and then having to deal with this energy, you know, channeling through my body. So it's very overwhelming, even the integration, because all your senses are reset again, and everything's like you're new, like you're a baby. So like you're in an adult's body, you have this awareness of like, I need to fix this injury, I need to fix this. Like you're an older body, but you're reset, and so your awareness of self is highlighted, and where you're sick, where you need to heal yourself. And so the next steps of integration is really just, okay, I've this energy now, I've got this reset, and I've got this connection. Now I need to heal myself where I needed, and then share this with people as well, because this is the strongest medicine on the planet. Like hands down, like it is just like nothing you've ever done in life. And I recommend it though for people that are ready, because you, like they say, dying is living. Like you feel like you're coming back to life. Like first thing the facilitators say is happy birthday, and they say welcome back. And when they said welcome back to me, I said, have you guys always been in this dimension? Like living in this heavenly utopian dimension? Because I felt like I'd just been not only taken there, but still there when the medicine wore off. So it was a complete paradigm shift. And so I felt like I was walking dead a bit before I did this, like in comparison. So I felt like I was a native person again. Like I'd been resurrected from not only the death, but resurrected from my roots. Like healed myself in ways like my intention was for healing. So two of the doses I did, you have to do like an intention, and they take you through a good breathing technique before you vaporize it, and it is so intense. Like so, there's no words really for it, and people need to experience it, and they'll understand what I mean when I say there's no words. It is all that is. It's everything. It's God. It's if you don't believe in God when you do the Torah, you will definitely believe in God and believe that you are God. That everybody is
Yeah, man, it's in alignment with a lot of these uh, told stories or people who speak of the super like other dimensional experiences, like super esoteric, super yeah, man, like life changing moments when consuming these psychedelic medicines, man.
God.
Man,
Yeah,
you
they call it
just yeah.
entheogens.
What's that?
They call this the God molecule, the entheogens, which awaken you to the realization of God within and the universe within self. So you feel like it's external, but it's internal too. So it's that confusion after you do these medicines of like the God is within and the universe is within ourselves as
Hmm.
well.
It's a
Not
follow-up
just
question, man. Like
externally, it's internally.
we tend to ask, or I asked it in my previous interview. I asked if you had a magic wand, or if you had that God power within you, and you could change two things in the world. I normally say three, but we sort of running out of time in this pod session. But if you could change two things in the world, snap of a finger, what would it be and why? There's a lot going on in the world right now. We've got
Yeah, yeah,
energy crisis over here. We've got economic downfall, recession. We've got cancel culture. We've got people speaking their minds and being cut off from existence, or existing in this
yeah,
3D realm or within our social networks and spaces just for their opinion or voicing them, i.e., Kanye West, i.e., yeah, so many more. The list
yeah,
goes
yeah,
on, you
yeah.
know. But if you could change two things in the world, snap of a finger, what would you pick and why?
Well, I'll answer it like this. There's two reasons to do psychedelics, especially 5-MeO with the toad. And the two main reasons I believe and support is for divine intervention and for self-healing. Those are the two most important things. And that's what I would recommend. And they're the two most important things in the world right now. Healing yourself and divine intervention.
Oh, yeah, hit the nail on the head right there. So, fam, take a deep breath, process that, process everything that we've discussed and everything that has been transmitted to you here today. This is illuminative, illuminating our minds, illuminating our vibration. And I'd like to thank you for that. Most people don't really get a thank you during interviews, or most people don't really get people acknowledging what they've done for you just on an energetic exchange level. And I want to thank you for that. And thank you for the music. Thank you for your energy. A lot of people might be sleeping on you right now, but I hope that these engagements eventually get the right people to hear this message. And if you made it thus far, man, you're part of the Soul family. You're part of the Soul family. Be sure to follow Illuminative on all these platforms. Listen to the album. Subscribe to the channel because, man, we're bringing you the source and shedding light on these illuminative beings that are, yeah, man, from different parts of the world, different corners of the world. And yeah, I'm super honored to know you. I'm super honored to be able to engage with you in this capacity, brother. And yeah, man, what's up next for Illuminative, and where can people find you?
Yeah, well, I just want to say thanks as well. Thanks for tuning in and connecting. I can feel the energy today as well, and the energy's strong, which is a good thing. And I just wanted to say that, yeah, as people are awakening and going through the foreplay of, like I mentioned, yoga, meditation, healing, the real deal is things like the toad or 5-MeO. And I believe as that increases, the facilitating of that, I'm hoping to do that one day as well to facilitate stuff like that for people. Not only continue music, but facilitate these medicines for people because that's how profound they are as well. And I believe that, especially the toad medicines like that, I believe they can turn the world around and turn people's lives around and get them out of the mess that they're in personally and collectively. And it takes one to know one. And so once people do it, they'll get it. They'll get what I'm saying. And I might be ahead of the times for people to get that. But like they say, only someone who does it knows the feeling, you know, like only a father knows how it is to be a father, etc. You know, like, so it's experiential. So the knowledge comes with experience. And and I'm just attempting to explain these things through the music and through talking with interviews. And yeah, when people are ready, go for it. Go for the toad where you can, even if you have to go to Mexico, like
Yeah,
life
I
changing.
definitely want to pop by
And that's,
to Byron Bay, man, to Australia, and hopefully the universe can organize a divine arrangement for us to connect in that capacity. And
yeah,
I'd love to be
yeah,
in that facilitation when you eventually get to that part of your lifetime, man. And please, man,
yeah.
follow
I
suit,
have a
take
connection
action, and
already.
sorry,
I
what
was
was that?
gonna say I have a connection. I have a connection to a facilitator already for the toad that can help me if I can get groups of people together.
Yes,
So
man.
for people that are ready, people are going to be lining up eventually because that's going to be the way to God, and that's going to be the way to heal yourself. And
Yo,
we
man.
inherit we inherit our ancestry through our genes. We need to heal what we've inherited, not
Oh,
just from this life, but all the lives.
that's
And
truth
that's
right there.
that's what you'll go through. And so what's next for me? I'm gonna do the rest of my music videos for this new album, and I should be finished filming this year and editing the movies. By the beginning of 2023, I'll be releasing the new music videos for this album. And I reckon the next level for me for music will be a similar vibe to what I did this time, but more of the Toad vibes. So that'll be next.
Yeah, man, we're finna get some
Yeah,
psychedelic,
yeah.
illuminative, yeah, Lumi. Um,
I just
yeah,
want to say though, sorry, I just want to say like the toad's one of the most ugly looking animals on the planet, but once you do the medicine, you think it's the most beautiful animal on the planet.
man, you just making my mouth drool, man. Like I haven't even tried this thing yet. I'm like it's top of my bucket list right now, bro. You gotta tap in,
Uh,
bro. Organize me the visa letter. Eh? I gotta be flying to Australia soon. Yes, sir. And
yeah,
there's the
man.
toad.
But there's a reason why the Chinese have this statue. Like, even though it's from Mexico, they're producing these in China, and they put a gold color on it, which represents wealth.
Hmm.
And to be honest, when you do the medicine, that's how you view reality. It's golden.
Sheesh. Take that in, soul family. Family, this has been another episode of the Litebod Pod. Illuminative, thank you so much for illuminating our lives and minds and hearts and souls. And yeah, be sure to tap in, subscribe for more. We'll be bringing you so much more light on underground artists or above ground artists or interdimensional artists from other realms. Who knows? So subscribe to stay tuned. Check out Illuminatives Endangered. It's out right now. Music video is dropping soon. Links down below to all of that and more. Follow me on socials as well. Light Body. Signing out. Load shedding on the way. We've got also other projects and so much more. Light Body. Illuminative. Thank you for pulling up to the site where we keep it light. You dig what I did? Peace.
Do dig what you dig. Peace out.
It ain't easy coming straight up from the bottom. Being broke and needy can be needed, ain't an option. Barely sleeping, trying to make sure I see profit. Had to work on me for